there's going to be an over-adaptation from OG, or if they're just going to play their own style and just let Kezu have his own game and then just dominate the rest of the map. Because it is a very, very aggressive lineup, like you're saying. Lash, we've got a lot of early aggro, not a lot of really like cooldown-based things. It's like just the RP from OG, so this is exciting. And I think we have to say it, you know, this Earth Spirit, Topson, he's been a huge fan of these Echo Saber mid laners lately. I know people are probably seeing him inside of those pubs doing it, so I'm just excited to see these constant battles because this looks like super fight-heavy lineup.
No, absolutely. You know, I think from both sides as well, Viking, they're going to be pretty happy to meet the action, at least with maybe not quite as soon and as early as OG, but if they're able to hit those timings, get those good sixes on the supports, they are going to have the way to initiate, to break in, to counter what OG's going to try and throw at them. You know, heroes like Axe, Clockwork, they are going to be able to deal with heroes collapsing in on top of them and offer the ability to turn things around, split them up, set up for the big combos that are going to come crashing in from the Invoker and the AA.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of information games. That's the thing that I'm looking at for Viking is finding these backlines, finding these squishy heroes, bypassing the Magnus and the Earth Spirit, which they absolutely can do, right? You've got Clockwork, you got Spiders, you got even an AA Blast coming over the top. You have a lot of different ways to scout. Even Boom, you know, Invoker, he can get into those backlines with his Ghost Walk since he's very likely to go Quas Wex, because that's what you have to do now every single time as Invoker. So yeah, this could be a pretty interesting one.
Yeah, and I guess you've got to imagine with Topson getting that Earth Spirit in as the last pick. Yeah, this is going to be a mid matchup that he feels pretty confident in. Playing against the Invoker, should be able to have a fine old time in them at 1v1.
Yep. You can't put that much harassment onto the Invoker, unfortunately, but you're going to free farm as this Earth Spirit, and you have better rune control. So you're going to get that bottle. Invoker's not going to get bottle. It's going to be up to the Viking supports to really check out the runes in mid to help out Boom so that Topson doesn't get some like crazy strong power rune at that 6-minute mark.
He's off Aramis. They're going to have a bit of a chase on to the Clockwork here. See if they're going to have enough for this. They will have another Fortune's End in a few seconds from No-Tail. Get up to the high ground in time. Now No-Tail will be able to get the cast off. Decent root duration. Sumail, is he in range for the stun? Can't quite close the gap. Won't be able to close in on time. The root at this level, of course, not lasting quite long enough. Aramis will make it back to base, and we'll start to see the lanes take form. Top lane against Kezu's Brood, it will be No-Tail on the Oracle supporting Mel's Leshrac. Over in the mid, of course, Boom's Invoker against Topson's Earth Spirit. And then down on the bottom half of the map, you'll have Saxa laning here with Seb as this Lina Magnus duo against, of course, the safe lane act from Shad. They'll have the backup of Celery in this lane. I mean, looking at some of these side lanes, who's going to struggle, Fox? Who's going to have a rough time here on the first few waves?
I think it still just might be Shad bottom. Even though we've seen these axes do very well, this is a very strong lane of Magnus, Lina, two of the strongest off lane here at the 3-4 combo. High burst, high physical damage, you have pretty much everything there. So I think that's probably the lane I'm looking at to suffer the most. I think Sumail should be pretty okay up top. The Clockwork has a pretty tough time. Aramis, I think, actually putting pressure onto Leshrac and Oracle as these two heroes. He's just going to have to cut and find his own game. Overall in the game, it's a pretty good Clockwork game, but in laning phase, it's going to be a slow one.
Gets those few levels, a big part of his movements are going to be matching that of Topson's once the laning stage starts coming to an end and Topson gets aggressive across the map. It's going to be very important where the clock is to try and punish Topson for the aggressive moves you know that he's going to want to make on his mid-earth.
There's a lot of fun moves you can make. Like versus Lina, just getting on Lina is always great, but just catching into Magnus a lot of times, you know, you throw yourself into Skewer so you can mess with the combo so many different. We'll have to watch Aramis who and when he can. Looking at last hits right now, it's looking pretty solid, the setups for OG, as we're kind of saying, like these lanes look pretty.
Lane in particular, the 1v1 heads up. Topson 9 for 3 against the 4 for 0. It's going to be a slow start on the early levels of the Invoker in the matchup. A few points of the combo. It's going to be enough to sort of keep Topson on his toes. Bottom lane, Skewer back onto Shad. Seb, he's kind of a shockwave in a second, but Shad quick enough to get himself away and instantly. CS-wise down here again, as you say, sort of across the board. OG just having the favourable time on these first few waves. Seb also taking a good lead against Shad. Getting the setup here onto Celery with the shockwave. Kezu will actually end up getting first blood up top, as they don't have enough damage to kill Celery off bottom. So Kezu finding No-Tail slightly out of position, and of course, as expected, tips coming out already. We're going to see some pretty top-tier tipping game coming out from both sides in this series. Bottom lane, another attempt. This time they'll be able to get the grab onto the bigger one. They get Shad. Seb with a shockwave Skewer back. It's enough control and damage to bring the axe out of the bottom lane.
I gotta be honest, I'm pretty astonished that No-Tail died top. I thought their lanes were super like easy to not get killed in, and they just have a very good aggressive lineup for bottom. So I mean, this This is going to be a really slow start for Viking. Like, I don't know what Shad's even supposed to do. These double nukes that come out, you're also not that tanky. He went for Magic Stick #1 rather than go for the Ring of Protection on the Axe. So these right clicks, they add up quick. Lena's going to constantly be beating on you. They've got Bassi for the spam too on OG. This is not easy for Viking whatsoever. We're seeing mid also, it's not getting better either. Topson having an excellent time. He's got the runes to work with. Boom. It's been very slowly recovering, but now all 3 lanes go OG favor.
Yeah, even this top lane, regardless of the kill on No-Tail, Sumail just having complete lane control, heavy amount of denies. It's not going to be a quick and easy start for Kezu on the off-lane Brood. So definitely a bit of a hole in this early game that Viking will have to dig themselves out.
Yeah, and it's some of the times where your carry is annoyed when he's laning versus a hero like Broodmother, right? Because that annoying Silken Boulder is going to be frustrating you, this missed chance constantly. But it's a Leshrac. You're never going to be missing. You're never actually really having to deal with the problem of this Silken Boulder that can be frustrated as a carry. So I feel like this pick was like a gotcha. You know, this Leshrac Oracle carry lane. Now you're playing versus a Brood in a Clockwork where they thrive versus playing versus melee carries, and now they're versus ranged semi-carry kind of something. This is a really good approach by OG.
And to the point, when they picked the bridge, they did imagine the lanes as this was, like Kezu knew that he would be laning into a side lane there.
I think you should have known that they were going to switch it up. Like, when does Topson play Lina? You know, like, I was looking, I was like, no way Topson's playing this Lina. Like, this is a Soxa Sev lane for sure. They're going to pick something out of the ordinary for mid lane for Topson, and that's exactly what happened. Like, you have to expect that, too. The Viking knew that was going to be coming, but this is what they decided to go with. And I mean, look at Shad. Like, he's getting, like, almost nothing down bottom.
It's such a tough lane. It really is. You said on paper, you're just Magnus, Lina, you're not going to have a lot of fun against it. You know, Seb and Saxa very well versed in playing this duo as a combo. So yeah, Shad's going to have to play the catch-up game, and
exactly.
You've got to look at the other cores, a Brood and an Invoker, and you've got to ask yourself, are these other cores that are going to allow your safe lane to have the time and space to recover? You know, what can they do on their own to make the time happen for Shad to get his first few items online?
They better have stacks prepared. I see Aramis has gotten some done at the Ancients, but might not be enough to Shad. Does get the call on Soxa, cold deep cross.
Soxa still got a fair fight that he's holding on to as well. They're able to set up here with a run onto Celery, but they'll play it cool. Saxa.
Oh, the rocket's coming.
Off the mark.
He tried.
Saxa's going to be fine.
It's a good attempt. Aramis looking to set up for that 6-minute rune. Topson, empty bottle.
Hey, might be able to set up onto Topson himself.
Yep.
He's coming in on the mid. Topson rather low. He'll drop the Magnetize, try to look for the rollout, but the Patria Assault's there from Aramis. Topson up to the high ground, pops the stick charges. He's not getting away though. Aramis having enough damage and control to bring down the Earth Spirit. Very important gank to be made there. Same time over in the jungle. Saxa gets and chases down Celery deep into his own half of the map. And Saxa will be able to get the kill and get out. That mid lane, a big catch there for Viking. They had to keep control of Topson somehow, slow down his free farm that he has been getting up until now. 40 CS, of course, on that mid lane Spirit.
Huge. They get the Urn Charge 2 for Boom. He's got an Arcane Rune. He has to get his mana back, but he could look to make moves around the map, and I think they've got to start breaking lanes. I don't think you can just stick with the way that it's been, so we do see AA make the way top. Shad getting closer to Vanguard, sticking down bottom by himself. Probably going to make the move to top to go for those stacks too. Kezu almost 6. Aramis waiting in the wings right here.
Sumail stepping up a little bit, but Aramis, he's looking to get on top of No-Tail instead. Closing the gap straight away onto the Oracle. No-Tail be able to keep himself safe a little bit with the Fade Edict. Aramis able to block him off enough for the Cold Feet to kick in. Aramis, he's going to continue to sort of bait them away. They're not going to be able to kill No-Tail or Sumail. Maybe Kezu can. She's in onto the Oracle. Has he got enough control and damage? No-Tail, a quick route actually holds back Kezu long enough to allow No-Tail to separate himself from the two. No-Tail will survive.
Wow, I can't believe No-Tail gets away with that one there. Kezu was so close to getting the 6. He was finishing off the creep wave, but not quite there in time to get the backup to get that kill. Looking at lane still. Well, about 2k gold lead coming out of this one here. With I think that's to be expected with the way that the setups have gone here. So I don't think Viking can be too fussed about it, because that's just the way it's going to be with these. The way that it's gone, and now Kezu's able to apply his pressure top. Gonna go for the pipe build. As expected versus Leshrac. The Earth Spirit core.
Sumail still feeling confident enough to come back into the lane.
Yep. Same build of
this tower.
Yeah, we're going to see the same build that we've seen him do when he was on Liquid, when they pair with the Oracle, that Eternal Shroud early on. Very effective.
Top tower is under attack.
lane. We see just with the EMPs here from Boom, just leaving Thompson in a state that doesn't allow him to get maybe as active as he wants to, with this consistent harassment of the mana drain, the EMP.
And he's going to do the same build that we did mention that he loves. It's got to be the Echo Saber, get that big damage talent at 10-2. It's actually really nice on Earth Spirit. It's something that's been underlooked at for a long time here. We'll see if it does work out this game for them, because laning phase looks great, but Viking, they're going to start getting some momentum here with Kezu very soon. Both supports playing around him. That does mean that they're going to be a bit under-leveled here. Celery, level 4, and he's got good levels,
that
but Aramis, he's not even level 4 on this Clockwork yet.
His levels definitely quite important when you consider
Absolutely.
how much sort of the trio really needs to achieve. Now, Aramis, Celery, and Boom, these three have got to be looking for the setups for the kills. Boom, he's making his way up top. He's ready for the setup. It's a beautiful angle here with Tornado EMP down onto the two of them. They take down Lowtail, Samana out of mana. Boom with a beautiful rotation up top, lines it up perfectly, and wipes OG out of the top lane.
Very nice early move. And they know that, I mean, with these early moves, it's actually going to close that gap after the laning phase completely here, because they're not killing Shad. He's sitting at his tower. He's got his Vanguard. So, yeah, these moves are working out here for Viking. 4-2 now. OG looking to strike back.
Looking for Shad.
Dire's top
Let's
tower
save underneath
is under
the tower. Will
attack.
show himself. Thompson sees an opportunity to dive in and set up for this. Already starting to get the shockwave. Leshrac array. RP drop down as well. Instant carry. They'll throw everything down onto Shad. Shad, he's got nothing to offer in return. He'll get a few spins and a call off. He'll still end up going down here to the aggression of OG. Same time up top. Samael also receiving a similar bit of aggression from Viking as they dive in, they take down the Leshrac, and they can continue to put the pressure onto this tier 1 tower top. Once again, Boom getting involved, enabling his side lanes, and just pulling together the resources to make sure that even with the fact that they didn't get quite as much as OG out of the laning stage, they've still got the tools to get these objectives taken down.
And I loved what he did there, too. So we see that sentry ward on the side of OG. I placed up toward near the tier 2. They actually got a D ward. But what that ward did is it scouted out the TP from the Oracle, knowing that there's going to be a follow-up TP on the front. So he leads mid, TP's top to make that move to set up so that they can go for this tower push. I think they also knew that Shad was getting ganked, but they just accepted it. They're like, whatever, Axe is going to die. Let's make our own hit at the same time. And they did it. They get a successful push on top. And now they swing over to the mid lane to defend. While we do see OG, they're going to look to hit the bottom tower as well. So they can get that space. The Leshrac's making the move down with double 3 edicts. Going to die in no time.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Boom does not have a
is
TP
under
to
attack.
defend the bottom tower either. OG should be able to just finish that one off. They're pinging it like they want to defend though.
Is under attack.
It'll be a hard defense to make. I mean, maybe because Aramis is 6, they do have the potential to
Radiant's bottom tower
more aggressively set up for the
Too
counter
fast.
plays. It's already gone. They're looking towards mid instead. Boom. Pushing in. Shada, the all-important ultimates now ready on Aramis and Celery. They've got a huge combo to blow up any member of OG, really, if they can land that hook shot on Ice Blast.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Kezu starting to bully the support. Saksa.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Oh, cracking shot there from Celery.
That is something.
There's the tips.
That is something legal
Going
games,
over
by
to
the way.
Seb because why not? Well, there we have it. Celery, he's feeling good about that. Beautiful shot.
Immediate pushing coming out from Sumail in the bottom lane. Magnus farming inside jungle.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Thompson has his Echo
Dire's
done.
top
So
tower
he looks like
is
he's going to be
under
that, they don't have that right clicker with the power from your traditional carry sense, but yeah, Earth Spirit, he packs a punch on him. With the damage
60
talent,
damage,
plus,
it's a lot.
plus, dude, with the power, man, I'm looking forward to see what potential it's got.
Yeah. I mean, like what other hero in the game has a damage talent that's close to that level 10, right? There's some like
Dire's
Kuka has like a
middle
plus
tower
30 or
is
something,
under
maybe
attack.
Lion
plus
has the
20.
70, right? At 10.
Oh, he has it.
But he's not a
Oh.
carry, but that's literally the only other one that's that high in 10.
Sure, but on melee heroes, this is
on
probably
melee,
the highest.
it's gotta be the
60
highest,
damage. That's, I mean, how much would 60 damage set you back if you're looking at high?
Dire's top tower is
That's
under
40
attack.
damage. That's
It's a relic.
2,200. It's a relic, yeah.
Yeah.
That's effectively. That's much bigger value than many of the level 7 talents in the game. You know, when
Look
you
at
look
the
at sort of
damage.
just straight up value.
Look at Thompson here. Yeah, look at that. He's got like 200.
Dire's top
Well, it
tower
doesn't,
is
tooltips
under
doesn't
attack.
show it, of course, but he's got plus 117.
smoke up from OG. Try and look to lead in here. Thompson with the level 10 that we're talking about. Ready to punch.
And Shad's still just farming Ancient, so he's fine. He's still getting like well and truly enabled. Here's Celery. He's gonna be the one who's bound, but that's fine. That's good 5.
True Shad, yeah, space is certainly being made for it. Yep, he's getting on track with Vanguard into Manta. He needs time, he's getting it. Kezu's starting to take good control. They're gonna get the lead in, look towards Boom, hot shots off the mark. Light stroke away from Saxon, comes crashing down with the Invoker. Boom still trying his best to get out of there. He's actually gonna be able to break away from it all. Aramis is in with the Battery Assault, stops Thompson from being able to pull up with any further rolling boulders. They'll turn towards Aramis instead. But Aramis going down is given time and space for Boom to get away from the rest. The full 5-man here now of OG that's looking to bring the action.
Thompson's in again anyway.
Celery. Get the blast out though. Thompson trying to roll away. They put the control here with the call. Still, OG there, outnumbered by Thompson. He's diving in further. He's feeling strong and empowered here from the back of No-Tail with a false promise. Another roll away. OG now deciding to start backing up as the respawn started coming to play, but Topsy took too much damage through the false promise. He ends up going down anyway. Now Kezu, he's in with the spiders. He's blocking off the escape. Saxon struggling to get himself around the spiderlings, and he can't escape. Shad closes in with the dog. He's got the cool control on the somehow. Shad, he's going to be able to have another dunk in a second. There it is. Double kill for Shad. No-Tail caught in the cogs fighting. They're having none of this aggression from OG as they hit back way harder than OG was coming in with themselves. You know, diving towards this tier 2. An incredible amount of aggression from Thompson. Too much aggression as that hurts OG big time there. Big step up for Viking.
Thompson is a literal madman. Diving into tier 2, he gave away his team's ward with that. It gets instant dewarded. And then they just, I mean, that's such an over chase there. He gets vesseled. No healing coming out. That was a bit strange coming out from OG, but Viking, they show up with numbers, they fight back, and now Shad all the way at the top. Pretty much got the Manta done. OG, they do have these huge stacks now to go back and work on, but that was quite an overextension that Viking's going to be very happy about.
Absolutely. Now we see Thompson straight up. You know, needs that BKB next up. He has a Q. Something to allow him to get away with those sort of moves. You know that OG's going to be making them, especially when you see a draft like this. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're always going to work out. Viking, you know, they knew what they were signing up for here when they came into this first series against OG. And with the moves and reactions like that around the tier 2s, you know, they know exactly what OG's going to be bringing towards them. And they're showing that they do have answers for it.
Dire's top tower is
Yeah,
under
they're
attack.
already starting to get their own tier 2. Like this tower's dead. Kezu's going to finish this off, and then they have outpost control. So they're going to start denying some good XP from OG. OG is going to have to look to make their own move. They're already pinging down toward this bottom tower, and they can push very fast tier 2. But again, well, I got to watch out for these overextensions. A couple more of those, and Viking's going to be just in a pretty damn good spot this game to control map. But they do scale very hard. Sure, this Earth Spirit has good damage.
Aramis! He's going to be able to find the angle onto Seb. Seb, he can't get back onto his side of the map in time. Zaramis catches him out. Viking picking up another, now starting to build up that net worth lead for themselves as that laning stage where OG were able to have the security, the advantage with the matchups. It's starting to become a bit of a distant memory now. Viking, they're bringing in the stronger plays.
Absolutely, and even though, you know, like I was mentioning, he gets all this high damage and scaling potential and all that, I think we've seen really displayed by LGD that Axe is gonna outscale. He's gonna get to a point where he's just gonna start killing everybody on your team, just cutting the waves and making the game impossible. So OG can't make too many more slip-ups, it feels like.
Now the Ice Blast in onto No-Tail. OG ready to back up their Oracle. In fact, Thompson is ready to charge straight in. He's in with the silence onto Boom. Spirit Vessel's going to be laid down onto Thompson. Aramis popping out the clock to try and split up the fight. They'll push the two of them back here with Deafening Blast. Cold Feet will kick in for Thompson. The Viking now keeping themselves to the edge of the fight. They don't have Shad with them. Thompson desperately trying to chase to catch a member of Viking, but Viking proving to be able to do a bit of a better job than OG was able to when it comes to knowing when to back, knowing when to get out. As Viking, nobody gets caught, nobody gets left behind.
I think it's super important that Viking's able to disengage in any of these situations. I think if you're not dying and not losing fights to OG right now, the scaling you're going to get in the later stages is going to be ridiculous. You have a Midas Invoker, you have Axe getting to this Manta Shard build soon. You're going to start getting a lot stronger, so just weather the storm. Don't let OG run you over in the next fight. You're at a great position with your gold, and just keep looking for these fights. Don't let them outnumber you. So this looks pretty good for Viking, and now looking to defend again top, even bringing the AA. I like that they're doing this. Just bring the battle back.
show themselves present at the tower, and it's enough to stop OG from hanging around any longer. They back off. Boom. Midas done, going straight for the BKB. These BKB timings from both sides, incredibly important due to the way that we're seeing both teams just consistently look to just butt heads with each other.
Lots of 4-steps we've seen, of course, on OG to deal with that clockwork. Finished up, Thompson getting close to that BKB to have his own protection. Sumail,
Back to base
he's
you
got
go.
the Shroud and he's got the Sage. So he's got that insane HP regen and lifesteal amp, so when he is Oracle ulted, he is running inside the fights. If he's not AA blasted, he will likely be at full HP. That's if he's not blasted during the end of those hits, though, because it will prevent the healing at that end of False Promise. And they have to make sure they ultimate a decent threshold, too. That is one scary thing about Axe, is you can still dunk your False Promise if they don't get it off early enough on the Lesh. Especially with Shad getting such good levels. He'll get that 20 talent early, the plus 150 threshold.
They've got to be careful, and No-Tail's definitely got his work cut out, you know, whether it be, you know, looking towards Sumail, keeping his Lesh alive and buffed up in the fight, or just trying to bail out Thompson when Thompson goes in head first to the action.
Or trying to protect him, trying to just stay in a good position and stay protected, because he's versus Clockwork Rocket to scout him, Spiders swooping in from the back lines too, so it's difficult. OG, they've got a timing. BKB done on Thompson, it's a big one.
He's ready to go in. Looking for Aramis. Aramis is going to be able to hop over towards No-Tail. The Ice Blast comes crashing in onto Sumail and Seb. Aramis continuing to run down No-Tail. Kezu coming over with the backup, pops the pipe. He's keeping Aramis alive. Sumail trying to turn to bring down the clock. Will finally manage to do so. Going to catch onto Kezu as well with the light strike ray lining up the rolling boulder from Thompson. This time round, OG, they'll get the 2 kills, keeping everybody alive. Viking weren't quite prepared for a fight of the proportions there that OG brought to them.
Thompson didn't even use BKB either. He just rolled and he held it during the entire fight too, and now finds himself with double damage too, so that high damage he already is doing will be increased. And I think same thing though for Viking, it's still just, you gotta stick together. If you know the way OG's gonna move around the map with the lineup that they've drafted, they're gonna look to play as this fighting 5-man. And it is OG, which they do that fighting 5-man anyway, even if they didn't have this type of draft, but I think Viking just needs to be a bit more together if they're gonna look to go for those type of fights.
You need these fights to keep on track with Shad's farm. Shad,
yep.
His network is going to start shooting ahead at a pace that, when it comes to just straight up farming the map, hitting the creeps, it's going to be very hard for any of OG's members to keep up with the Manta Ag Shard Axe.
It's just silly, because there's no risk with Manta Shard of the Axe. You know, you're farming the whole map, and OG, they have to show themselves in order to do that. That's why this Axe is just so crazy. Look, we're going to just continue to see a lot of it, so it does get potentially nerfed again.
The next move is here from OG. Relatively split up at the moment. Saxa trying to get his bots farmed up on the bottom. Rather close to it as well, so we'll have that extra way to make sure that they can put pressure on these side lanes while still being kitted up and prepared to join forces to tackle Viking in a 5v5.
Thank you.
It does still look like both teams are fine with the state of the game though, right? Like OG, I see them like sitting back, they're farming. They probably feel like they have a good way to scale too. Viking, they've got great ways to scale, as we mentioned with that Midas on the Invoker plus the Axe. But they do have Brood, and I know that a lot of the teams, a lot of the players have talked about how it gets to a point eventually where Brood just stops doing too much. So maybe that's where OG's looking at being like, okay, well, we've got things to deal with this. You know, we've got late game too.
About Brood, he's able to find him straight in with the rolling boulder. A tornado comes out to try and hold them back, but they'll only clip onto Sumail. As Kezu goes down, OG ready to charge in for the next target. Thompson on the hunt. Quite able to get the slow onto Aramis. Aramis, fancy footwork, doing his best to dodge it with a hook shot up to the end speeds. Aramis may just make it out of there. Hogs just in time, pushes back Seb up, jumping, but they still are able to find the grab. Thompson in with another roll. They'll catch the clock, take him out.
Fancy footwork. Almost gets himself out, but...
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Says thank you.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Seeing a Viking. BKB is going to be done on Shad. Really wants that blink to be done until he's at a point where he feels he can turn up and potentially turn around these moves that OG's making against them.
Even though they're the ones with the Axe, they're getting out efficiency'd on the map. OG's getting much more farm and just swinging around as this unit here. They keep forcing reactions, and they're even stealing away Ancients. Like, look at Thompson. He's farming them with his power. And Kezu makes his way back up, but he's got to be careful. They're swinging Shad over, though. BKB's done, but he doesn't have a blink for the setup, so he just got to walk in as the sack still.
And Thompson's going to be hard to kill. Even with the damage output of the Axe later on, with this heart build, you know, it's a lot of HP that you're trying to get yourself through. It's a tanky Earth Spirit. With the backup of sustain of heroes like Notel's Oracle, you know, maybe the days of, you know, Thompson diving in first and dying are far behind that of OG. They're really going to have to throw everything down on this Earth Spirit to have any chance of killing Thompson.
They have to find the backline too. Like, it's going to be Aramis has to find Notel, and then I'm seeing Boom queuing up for the BKB, which you can see why, but maybe it is feeling like they are going to need just that Cataclysm a bit sooner. He's still a little low level, so it's only level 4 on the Exort, but yeah, it just feels like OG is just getting more out of the map right now, controlling runes as well. Another DD on Thompson.
2K lead, steadily being built up by OG. Shad. 900 into the Blink Dagger. You see over on the side of OG, Seb just continue to build up the auras, the protection, heading towards the Greaves. Saxa again finding himself some space down on the bottom. Straight to the Ether Lens.
Great Lotus Orb game too now. Versus just pretty much Spirit Vessel. You can just protect his teammates versus that and the Cold Snap from the Invoker. Then for Cold Feet, good one. Good pick up here for Seb. He's just gonna go for Auras, like you said. And Notel, he's just sitting in mid lane, maybe expecting a move to go out on Thompson. Thompson's farming that risky wave. He's just sitting there Shadow emulated, chilling.
So I think it's just so hard to make a move on Thompson.
Feels like it.
As you mentioned as well, Viking, I don't think they'll be falling for any sort of that fate. You know, Thompson alone presenting himself like that. I don't think they're going for that. They know the importance of finding the heroes around him before they get aggressive and try to do something.
And we do see, by the way, Boom, he did switch up the build. I think they're starting to realize, like, they're just farming the map. It's 11 to 11, yeah. But it's the gold leads accruing more and more for OG. Like, they're just splitting up. They have this bots, Lina. Even though the Axe is on the top side of Viking, OG is doing a better job of just keeping those side lanes pushed out with little to no risk.
Gonna have it very soon, yeah. Just a couple of 100 gold away from the Axe.
Yeah.
Won't be at full power, but will certainly be something.
And it's gonna coincide with Shad's push. It's about to have that done, but very passive. Kezu's starting to accumulate an army up top as a siege wave pushing towards, so we'll see one of OG's heroes react toward there. See Kezu also, he's been doing this most of the game, didn't really point it out, but layering spiders throughout the jungle, as you see the map right there. He's got pretty much scouting of the whole OG jungle.
Kezu, the halberd coming out. Not really the traditional counter you'd expect to an Earth Spirit. Now, oh my goodness, this Earth Spirit, we need a halberd to deal with him. But of course, with the strength and the damage talent, those right clicks on this Thompson build really do count. So having some sort of way to really stop that major source of physical right-click damage that could come out after some of these setups like the RP, but will make a huge difference in the damage output of OG's team fight.
Oh, Shad's got enough damage. I mean, I know it's an Axe who usually does have enough damage with himself, but
yeah,
behind his set. He gets caught.
They're going to get the grab on him. They'll drop the Cataclysm, make sure they burst the Magnus before any sort of response comes out from OG. And a quick kill on the Mag like that, Seb off the map for a minute. That'll give Viking the confidence to head straight into the road camp.
Not that quick too. That's pure damage. No joke. Alacrity as well, thrown on top. Thompson has hard finish. They're in the area.
Do anything to interrupt this though.
Got a ward.
It's already falling pretty low. They're going to try and burst Center up to the sides. There's going to be a buyback coming out from Seb. Viking standing step outside of the pit. Thompson coming in with the BKB over on the side of Shad. He's caught the backlines. He's found Saxa. Saxa gets taken out. Boom. Attempting to get away with the goes for Thompson. He's able to find him with the dust. Stepping blast from Boom. Pushing back Thompson. They're looking back towards the road. Shad. He's trying to finish this. Focusing it down. No one else is in the pit. Shad. He's going to be able to get in. Finish road. Grab that Aegis. Off the side. He's in with the jump. The call off the mark though. Won't be able to grab Samael or Notel. It's two of them split. Samael though Forward load of power, this Ice Blast. The false promise comes out. Shad, he's holding his ground here with the BKB sticks back over towards No-Tail. No-Tail, he's providing the heals over towards Sumail, but the token from Shad comes down onto No-Tail. Jump forward from Shad, chasing onto Sumail. Seb will push back Shad with the skewer. The blast here from Kezu, not enough to finish Sumail off, but Sumail will live. The second buyback, though, coming out from OG around this fight. Thompson still full HP on the high ground. Alice and Shad, Elon Mana has enough just for a call. The cold feet, Seb's coming over. Thompson very tanky, tries to roll away. Kezu will be able to block him off. He's still sitting here with his 3600 HP. They can't kill this Earth Spirit. They've got to bail. They've got to back off, especially now with the rest of OG coming back into play, chasing them down. Viking, they'll play heavily on the retreat. Thompson, he wants to try and catch someone in onto Aramis. Aramis has the glimmer. There's this control from Saxon. Lightstrike comes crashing down along with the dust. They'll take down Aramis.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Long fight, but the pickoff that they get on Seb really pays off. They can get that rush. They lose Boom, but they get Shad, his Aegis. He's got a shard. He's got his
Radiant's middle
Arcane
tower
Rune picked
has
up,
fallen.
and they do lose the tower, and they do actually lose the gold on the map here too, but a pretty good hit.
Dire's
Viking
top
anyway.
tower is under
It's shown that the
attack.
axe can do the damage, but Thompson is an issue.
Yeah, they've really got to get Thompson in this sort of setup and catch from Shad.
Yeah.
With the full damage of him and his illusion spinning away. Cataclysm. Without those two components, they're not killing Thompson at all. Here we have perfect setup, the call into the Cataclysm and the blast. It's still not enough though. It's just down to half HP. Thompson, he's out with the BKB. He'll go for the TP away. The magic immunity lasting just long enough. He'll make it safely back to base. But you know we have it pretty much as I say that all the spells hitting that need to barely threatens Thompson even with them all landing.
Yeah, he's going to be another cookie to crack, but if they can isolate him, can definitely see the potential for Viking. As they're smoked, they're still feeling strong. Level 19 on Shad, about to hit 20 for that extra threshold.
Radiant are scanning.
Shad's going to start scouting with the spiders.
Either Shad or Aramis, quick at the setup here. Shad, look towards the man. Catch him, by the creep wave, Ice Blast in, they can't save him, but the hook shot from Aramis comes out the backline, catches them, catches No-Tail, pushes No-Tail down to the river with the cogs. They've taken out two of OG, and there's no buybacks available on these two, so the rest of OG, they're going to have to take this fight 3 versus 5. They get the full control onto Thompson. Thompson, he's trying to roll away, but Aramis is in with the body block, so third death on OG, as Seb and Saxa, they have to split. Boom's going to continue to hunt down the Lina. Saxa will put the dust to try and slow down Boom. Turns with the light strike, will catch on to Boom. The movement speed isn't going to be enough here from Saxa. Does have the TP available, he's into the trees, he will manage to make it away. But a big hit there from Vikings sending around the mid. And as you said, maybe Thompson just a little too set for another round. A few seconds too early before that BKB would have been back and prepared.
Yeah, they got full scouted too. The spiders swung behind from Kezu. They saw the Lesh walk into the river onto the low ground. Boom, immediately get the jump. I don't even know if the false promise was in range yet, but either way, Aramis was there to cover it. Gets a 2-man hook shot. Great fight from Viking again. And they're just, I think the biggest thing is just, like you said, identifying that fact of speed that you can make the moves. Earth Spirit's BKB was down. They just were not ready to fight. And Seb so far unable to really find any situations for an RP. I don't think we've seen one, have we?
I think just the solo one on Shad in the laning stage, down bottom at the very start. Other than that, no Sebs. He's just not been able to make it in. It really has just been a lot of it has been Aramis. The clockwork is the perfect answer to these heroes. You know, these heroes that are trying to initiate that don't have the ability to be the first to start the action. And of course, No-Tail, Saxa, who supports that. Aramis is handling pretty well in these team fights.
Yeah, and sometimes it might look like they might be lacking damage. Like, you look at this Viking draft and you could think that they might lack some damage in some instances without the Cataclysm. But when you have an axe like this, the damage is just so ridiculous. Shad.
He's going to double back in, get the call up onto Thompson. He's in with the kick. Break Seb away from the Cataclysm combo. They're going to throw down into the RP. They've caught Shad. Shad actually get out of this. Sumail comes in from the side, will get the stun down. They blow up Shad. They are going to see round 2 coming in from Shad. Aramis, he wants to be a part of it. Buys back, ready to head straight back over to help out his axe. So they can try to. The stun control's there. They've got nothing to break Shad out of the combo. Jump forward from Seb. He's also able to get the grab onto Cello. He steers him straight back into the heart of OG. As OG, they'll be able to finally get themselves back on track with a solid fight. Catching out the big man there. Shad down now for 70 seconds. The axe out of the game.
They chain stunned him too. He couldn't even get the BKB off after he revived. They just kept getting the stuns on him over and over again, and a nice kick out from Thompson, saving the mag. And as soon as we're saying it, of course, Seb is able to find a pretty decent to get a win for Sumail to come in and clean up. 5k gold lead back to OG.
Absolutely, and that's the thing with Shad getting as much farm as he is. You know, Samel sort of outside of the action has been keeping up very, very nicely. Now taking in fact the top spot against Shad's farm. As long as they can fight around Samel, keep the space available for Samel to do his job. This Lesh is going to kick out a lot of damage over these sustained brawls that Vikings trying to be a part of against those.
Yeah, these long fights could be pretty difficult for Vikings, for sure. With Bloodstone, with the Shroud, there's so much extra healing that Samel does have. Blink 2, extra survivability for one false promise. Spider Legs 2 to, you know, scurry around the fights. Now these stuns layered. Difficult for Vikings to really set up for their own racks.
Yeah, it is with no shot, no defense potential there at all as the melee racks gets taken out. He can catch Thompson. Whilst he comes in with the attempt of the tree, still got the BKB ready. Apart from the fact they're ready to turn. Shad tries to get him with the core. He's not going to be able to get the grab somehow. He's able to get himself out of the Cataclysm combo. They've brought down No-Tail. Thompson just diving even deeper. He's going to TP out with the remainder of the BKB. And as OG will look to back off, they got the objective, they got what they came for. They don't want to lose anything more than No-Tail. By the looks of it, Samel up to the cliff and with the TP out, they won't lose anyone else indeed. Sack's also able to make it out in the lane. Objective taken, only an Oracle's life to cost for it there.
Those are the moments when you know as a supporter, as an Oracle, that you're dead. You know, your carry, your Earth Spirit just rolls into the tier 4s. You're an Oracle versus Mother and a clock. Spiders just surround you. You got no hope. But they do get the racks, so that's the important thing for OG. And continue to scale. SNY now on Thompson too.
Back to base you go. Back to base you go.
Definitely slowing down a little bit now for Viking. Kept on boom, so he's going to be a little more set to position himself aggressively, but I think considering the way the game is going, it is going to be the refresher that's the real key timing once again. It's all about the burst that they can offer in that combo. It really is. You know, we talked about how the sustained fights right now will favor that of OG for Viking. It's all about that initiation or the counter initiation, getting in and starting the fight off with a numbers advantage, bursting down at least one of OG's cores or both of the support backliners to start the fight.
Absolutely. And yeah, OG, they look like they're ready to go for this push again. Thompson's already in the mid lane. They have Seb dealing with the bottom. This is 35 minutes, so we see this catapult coming in. They're getting killed right again.
Can do it. Thompson ready to put the BKB and he's ready to try and get in on this. Rolls in onto Shad, taking a heavy damage though underneath the tower. He's in with a hook shot. Pushing back for the cogs as well. He's caught in the Cataclysm. He's taking heavy damage after his false promise. He's going to fall pretty low, Thompson. No-Tail's trying to offer up enough heals to keep Thompson safe, but he cannot do so. Thompson dying underneath the tier 3s and Shad, he's ready to turn this in a ball. Gets the jump in on the Sax. The call's there onto the leader. Kezu, he's looking to charge down. Hex down onto Seb as Seb will skewer away as this little piggy tries to run up the high ground. He actually makes it out with a blink. Seb skew off just in time before the Hex came into play. As Seb's able to fly his way out of there. But still, nonetheless, 3 dead on OG. Again, just playing a little too close to the tower. Thompson overestimating his tank ability with the BKB in the half. Once more, and they Samel as well. Shad with the spider legs. That's enough. Samel's able to break his way over the cliff. He will get out. Boom's looking for Seb up top.
Yeah, they're setting up top already.
So if they can get anyone else out of it. As Aramis is making his way over, hookshot is up.
Back to base
Seb,
you go. Back to base
the
you
force
go.
and a skewer. He's deep into the trees. Aramis won't be able to follow up.
Vikings playing this, they're still playing this very, very well. Like, this game is 21-17,
It's
still
close.
super
It's
close.
a close game.
It's good how they're identifying that. OG, they identified, they're like, oh, 35 minutes, we got these double sieges, let's split up, kill the one's bottom, but also go for mid. Thompson just goes too far. Viking, identify that, they punish it. So this is really good balance from both sides, just understanding what they need to do in the game, but OG overstepping a couple times now in this game, getting caught out for it here. Thompson, that was the second time that he stepped up.
The catch on a Seb, hookshot as well as the false promise. To try and get Seb back to safety. False promise comes down from No-Tail. Seb, he's looking to turn, will drop the RP, it's down on the Boom, but Boom got the BKB off in time, so there's going to be no follow-up after the RP. Viking, they'll get away, so will OG though. Seb will be safe.
37 minutes, we got new items to pick up for both sides. We'll get some better luck.
I guess the big one, of course, as always, is the Illusionist Cape for Shad, if he can find that.
Yeah. Timeless Relic, also for the side of
That's
OG would be
yeah.
really big, but they actually get on Viking, which is huge also for the Invoker.
Juicy tier 4s here. Telescope, you know, never going to complain about finding a telescope.
OG's on the hunt. No RP at the ready, but they know BKB still on cooldown for Viking.
More Celery. To the side. Shad actually for the counterplay. They're going to hex in onto 7. The Lotus was there as well. Blow up the AA. Celery not able to get back underneath his tower.
Is under attack.
He gets like 2-shotted by the Earth Spirit. 500 damage Earth Spirit.
They're looking for Aramis as well. They found their second support. It's Aramis. Maybe a 5 round to Celery. Aramis turns straight away with the hook shot in onto Notel. They've got him. They're blowing up the arm. Now they're turning with Toxin, but Toxin with the BKB is ready to push in. Rolling boulder straight past Aramis though. Aramis will still fall for the damage output of Sumail. Shad trying to run back Saxa and Seth. Thompson, he's out with the roll. They've got nothing else to catch him with. Saxa keeping the hits in onto Shad, stopping his ability from being able to blink in and get the catch off. Boom over towards the mid. He's running down Sumail with the cold tap and the spirit vessel. Sumail backups coming in. Seth charging forward. He uses the force stuff to try and get Sumail back to safety. The spy legs are there. Shad pulls off the mark. Won't catch the two of them. Cold tap down onto Sumail. Now Shad, he's being controlled. Will put the man to trying to get away, but Seth back in with the Stewart. Stewart onto Shad. Shad will fall. The axe down. 3 dead on Viking. Thompson catch onto Kezu in with the rolling thunder. Straight over. Kezu turns with the hex onto Saxa to stop any follow-up Leshrac away from coming out straight away. It doesn't matter though. Saxa has the time still to turn. Kezu getting completely controlled here. Another slow from the boulder of Thompson in with a stun. Landing everything here against the spider, leaving Kezu no chance to break away from the control of Thompson and Saxa. 4 dead on Viking.
That was a crazy fight. There was like 2 different fights going on during the entirety of it. Chad's chasing Seb the whole time while Thompson's zoning 3 heroes out of the Earth Spirit. And that's with OG losing Notel right at the start of the fight. And they still can't do it. Thompson, 5,130 HP Earth Spirit. Zoning away 3 heroes with the Lesh. That was a huge fight from OG.
Yeah, especially, you know, with the way that, yeah, as you say, Viking, they did sort of make the big, well, what could potentially have been a big brain move to turn that initial hook shot from Aramis, pretty much finding it onto Notel through the entire squad of OG, blowing up the Oracle. It just didn't quite matter this time round. Viking not having the positioning to deal with OG, running at them and sort of tearing them apart, distracting them, splitting the team away from one another.
And like Sumail's just his self-healing. He didn't even need the Oracle's healing this time around. The Bloodstone plus the Shroud, it was enough to keep him popped off and just keep disengaging. He also had a Haste Rune, did come into play, but the Shad got like a good 2-man call in the back. He didn't get like this crazy amount of spins, but looked like the fight could have gone either way until the last few seconds of it there, where Thompson's just holding his ground. 5,150 HP with a Trickster Cloak. Like this Earth Spirit's pretty damn unkillable unless he just dives too far, as we've seen a few times.
Especially with that Trickster Cloak. Yeah. A lot of effective HP to try and work through. He's probably going to have to dive into the fountain to have the sort of situations where OG's getting punished for the aggression, but no, it is OG. That can very well happen. You may find Thompson in that exact position. You got to watch out for it.
And we do have the refresher done for Boom now too. So we do have a secondary go after the first explosion. They could have a secondary Cataclysm that can clean up. It does feel like, you know, we said there maybe could get to points for damage issues for Viking, and we actually are getting to those points versus crazy tanky Earth Spirits. The second round of it will help, but they're trapped in their base. OG continue to get that over-efficiency of the map.
It's going to be a test now here for OG. How safely can they break away the high ground objectives from Viking without falling
Radiant's
to the temptation
is under
of
attack.
diving in deep against them?
They're about to be 25 on the Lesh, so that'll help quite a lot just to push that much quicker. Thompson also does have a DD, he finds himself a Spell Prism too. Yeah, he's going in.
See what they got on the high ground there, Viking. Setting things up. Look at Shad and Aramis. Already trying to get him from the side. Looking for an angle on the backlines. Aramis, he's in it. He's been able to find Notel. Straight in onto the Oracle. Notel. He's trying to protect himself with the Ice Blast of crashing when he gets taken out. Over to the side, Shad. They're protecting him for now with the Glimmer Cage. Stuart over to the side. They got further locked down for the axe. They don't. Shad's able to put the BKB. Heading up the high ground. He's got the core control onto Thompson. Caught underneath the tower. Leshrac away from Sansa. Holds back the 2 of them, but Boom now with the BKB out. Chasing towards Thompson. Jump forward for Shad. He's in with the dunk. They're taking out the Earth Spirit. OG's push will be put to a stop. As again, Aramis just finding somehow that this angle every single time through the entire team fight, the entire 5-man of OG, he keeps finding the perfect line onto Notel.
And they no messing around too. I thought maybe for a second it could be like a bit of a mistake there from Boom, just doing the full double Cataclysm, because I don't think most of the actual Sunstrike's connected, but they got the Oracle, and then Earthspirit just commits a bit too far. He gets a little too overzealous trying to finish off the Invoker and just gets completely locked down. So OG does still have to give some respect to this massive burst combo and also to the wraparound. Like Aramis, time and time again, has been able to find those wraps.
Yeah, these are big holds, big moves here from the defensive from Viking, considering as well. Still, we got 11k down against OG. But making moves like that, you definitely don't feel that much of a difference between the two squads.
Yeah.
Very solid moves from Viking.
And a good point out there from our observer. You know, I did mention how Thompson did switch out to go for Spell Prism instead of going for that Trickster Cloak. Maybe that Trickster would have been enough to keep him alive inside of that crazy dive forward. Yeah. He was swapping the cheese in, and he had like 1 second or so left till the cheese was back in the inventory. So, yeah, it probably would have saved him there, at least for some time to get the Oracle back in position.
In the next round, Sumail still huge as ever.
He sure is.
His back and forth moves. 28,000 net worth on the Leshrac. Getting closer to being able to pick up this Arcane Blink and still having the availability of buyback.
And No-Tail, he has no buyback. If he gets killed in this next fight, he's not going to be able to buy back and come back and join in like he's been trying from the last few. So OG, it's a bit of a scary push for them. Even though they have Aegis left for 50 seconds, they're probably feeling a bit concerned to actually go for it here. As I believe the double Cataclysm's back up in 20 seconds for the
going to be keeping an eye on that timing for sure, you would imagine, OG. Yep. The question has to be, what are they going to do about it? I mean, when it comes to OG's heroes, we see Thompson very much, you know, he does have a pretty long reach in terms of who he can dive in and get on top of. But other than that, actually finding someone to really stop Boom from ever getting off his combo from the back of the fight, it's not easy for OG's heroes now. They can't really stop Boom from doing his job every single time. As long as Aramis or Shad's in between Boom and OG, Boom's gonna be able to drop those double Cataclysms every single team fight.
Absolutely. If there are Cataclysm combos, AA Blast, we have even Lagunas and stuff like that. Let's take a look at how many Aeon Discs we have. It's a big 0 right now, which makes me feel really nice. I don't know, that item is running rampant everywhere.
I mean, what is it, sort of a gentleman's agreement from the teams, you think? And I know nobody wants to play with
They're going to start buying
you know.
I think No-Tail probably like, I need an Aeon.
Bounty.
Smoke up from Viking. As soon as the action's back on, they want to bring the heat.
There's another Aeon Disc. Yeah, as soon as we say it, man, these... Shad's got one. We've got one coming out on No-Tails.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense from Shad as well.
Sure does.
For him, you know, sure, damage is going to be limited from himself, but just being able to survive and get the call off, allowing Boom to drop the 2 Cataclysms, the lockdown from the axe will be enough to start off the action. Even if the Aeon just gets procced.
There it goes.
Clockwork Rock hitting side lanes, scouting out. OG, they'll show themselves down bottom.
Radiant's courier has been killed. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It dies
Tier
fast.
3's OG.
They gotta get back quick, Viking.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
That's what Shad can do. From the side. Open up, he's still off the ground. He's been able to catch the tournament back like he's found 7 Sansa. Through with the hooks on as well on the set, put you back to close into the second round of Cataclysm set. Going to get away with the stew up, but the damage is done. Set's out for 2 minutes. Thompson, BKB has come to an end. Aramis committing with his own BKB, the Self Stone into the slide away. Thompson will break his way out of any further combo. In fact, Thompson's ready to go back in. Thompson will look to finish off the range rack. Just to be a bit careful with no BKB. Jump forward, the Hex is out onto Aramis. Sumail, he's in with the damage. Tornado holds out, runs to the 2 of them. Aramis still somehow alive, will get the cogs off. Aramis has died, but he's been able to trap Sumail and Thompson. Thompson rolls out to the side, cold feet kicks in. Sumail's been taken out. Thompson, another roll to get off to the side. Aramis not quite able to get the angle there with the hook shot. He's still trying to run away, Shad. So that blink up in a few seconds, but with the rolling thunder, Thompson will be able to continue to get out of there. They find No-Tail off to the side, Tornado in from Boom. They caught the Oracle as No-Tail down for 100. Both him and Seb without the ability to buy back. As Viking only having to utilize the buyback of Aramis to hold OG off. As OG will be pushed back, they're not able to claim anything from the mid set of Rax. And now a bit of a window where Vikings, they could punch back pretty hard and take objectives from OG already. Top, boom, he's looking for the setup onto Thompson. He's been able to sneak over into the jungle. He's found Thompson, and with the outpost under their control, Aramis gets him with the TP. Hookshot is up, but the stone form lasts just long enough from Thompson to avoid the connection of the hookshot. As Thompson, he'll only just, but he will manage to get himself away.
I mean, Viking got like, so much out of it. They got top racks, they got a huge fight in the mid lane. They only lost one range racks that was out of all of it too. So yeah, massive, absolutely
range
massive.
Range racks and a clockwork buyback, so very small.
Very small.
Things being offered by Viking to be able to take that against OG Thompson. It's in on the mid. He's been caught out by the core. We'll get the BKB off in time, but the first Cataclysm comes crashing in. Hookshot off the mark there. Can't quite get past Shad to get the control onto Thompson. So Thompson will be able to still step back underneath the tower. Turn with the silent Shad. Eon Disc will proc. So back off for now, 10 seconds until Seb's back in, about 10 as well until Sumel's back in the game. Sumel really not wanting to have to use his buyback, of course, with his last few seconds that he is off the map. If I can pause for racks in time over to the side, Shad, he gets the grab on Saxa. Saxa standing a little too close, over to the mid. Seb, he's in with the RP, onto the two of them. He's able to push back Aramis underneath the tower, as well as Kesu, but there's no follow-up onto both of them. Buyback comes out from Saxa, another skewer, again from Seb, scooping up the two of them. Aramis will die underneath the tier 4s. Kesu trying to break away with the help of the waves, but the light strike comes crashing down from Saxa. Kesu will fall. OG themselves this time round, just one support buyback will hold back Viking. Viking not quite able to get the melee racks in the mid lane, as OG, they will bring out the defense.
And it's 100 seconds now the other way. Let's see what OG looks to make happen with that time, since they didn't have their Magnus for 100 seconds, so that's why Viking went for the push. Now we've got to go in the other way. Seb, he should have buyback for the next. He was just short on gold, I think it was. So now this one he'll be able to get a little bit more farm out, and we'll have buyback after this next push.
Dire are scanning.
Gonna look to set for that one up, and yeah, we'll see what Viking does look to set up for here. Shad, he does buy out. He spends gold shards, so he's got that super high attack speed now. But yeah, 50 seconds.
Get some creep waves here.
He needs to, because they could just lose. They could get megged right here. That's the scary thing about this Earth Spirit plus this Leshrac. It's 50 seconds. That's more than enough time.
The creeps getting too close. There's not going to be any backdoor protection here for Viking as Thompson. Tier 3's gone. Onto the racks here. What can the three of them offer up, Viking? Thompson with the roll. He's going to be able to use the stone form here to kick him back deep into the hands of the rest of OG. Shad still able to get the BKB off in time. BKB and walk off to the side. They'll put the fortification. Still 30 seconds until Vikings got the full squad left alive. Boom. The AoE deafening blast. Going down the push here from Thompson a little bit. Not enough. The range rack still goes down. Thompson over towards the melee racks. So we're just the three harder putting back Sumail. He's in aggressive with the hex onto Boom. Thompson goes forward as well, but Boom's out to get the BKB off. The Cataclysm comes out. There's no setup as Celery dies underneath the tower. He does have a buyback available. Thompson looks for the rolling onto Boom, but Boom is moving down, juke it out to the side set, dropping the RP, but the Eon Disc from Chapman moves the stun immediately. He's got the damage control onto Sumail. Sumail, he's going to have the buyback, but Saxon's down. No buyback on him. Thompson, BKB committed as he tries to stay on top of Kevin and Celery, but Shad, it's another triple kill. He's done what he said. It's another ultra kill. It's Thompson, the last man left alive. He'll turn into a stone, he'll turn into a statue. Maybe they don't see me if I'm not there, but they do. They see him. The hex is down. Rampage for Shad. As Viking, they'll wipe OG, and they will defend the base, even keeping the melee racks alive on the top lane.
Shad got the two-man call on the back line. He got the Magnus and the Lina as Sumail was super far into the base. They got split up again. The Cataclysm connects, and then they're all split. Again, OG getting a bit too overzealous, it feels like, with their aggression, and they get turned off by Viking for like the third or fourth time this game.
Absolutely big hold there from Viking. Doing it for what must have felt like the longest of time for them as well, with just the 3 versus the full 5-man of OG. But they pull it off. They hold back OG. Now they're ready to run down mid here with a full squad.
They know there's no RP either for 30 seconds or so. The Aeon Disc, as you mentioned, it procced as soon as that RP went off, similar cooldown, so they should know. Buyback is forced though from Thompson. Push is back up, so it does look like that's what Viking wants to scout out next. They got the outpost first.
Playing it careful, playing it smart here, Viking. They know that they've now managed to shift the lead into their favor, but not wanting to make the same sort of misplays that OG has here. Viking. They're eyeing up the mid lane.
Notel is quite far away from his team still. He's pinging himself. He's like, guys, I'm not there yet. Be a little careful, I'm coming.
Thompson rolling in. Gonna make it away, chancing himself.
Dying.
They're going for this Roche, pretty much with the full lineup of OG alive. Vikings feeling that strong about their ability to take objectives out to the side of Pit. They've caught Aramis. They're in with the jump. Aramis, he's out. That's the gem hitting the decks. Aramis gone for 90 seconds, but the time is brought there for Viking to finish off the Roshan. And now they'll look to try and get themselves out of it. Toxin in with the chase over towards center, but they'll turn. Boom with the two-man tornado. The RP from Set comes down on the Boom, but Boom again getting the BKB off in time. Toxin rolls over towards center, who has the damage to take down the AA. The AA is gone. Boom pushing about with the death advantage. He's up to the high ground. Cataclysm coming down as OG starting to get split. They look towards Shad, but Shad blinks out just in time. Thompson still trying to chase in onto the axe. Shad still enough movement speed here for the to travel to get out of there. He has it. Thompson in with another roll. They'll catch the axe. They'll bring down Shad the once. With the Aegis ready for round 2. No BKB. Eon Disc up in a second. Has Shad got any way out of this? The Hex comes out. Shad trying to run, but there's no help coming in for him. Shad will be left to die alone.
Base is starting to get sieged. Good fight though from OG. They get the supports right at the start, and they can actually keep Notel alive for one.
Dire's
They get the
middle
jump onto him with the
barracks
Hex,
are
but his
under
Aeon
attack.
Disc ends up keeping himself alive. They get the kite around. OG, I think they lost a full AC on the courier during this fight from Thompson, but either way, able to get the fight back. Getting rid of Aramis seems to be pretty important at the start of the fight. Even though it looked like he kind of caught the rolling boulder for his team, he dies right at the start of the fight, and it seems very difficult for Viking to fight without him. They will get their gem at least.
I mean, and I guess Shad maybe feeling the inevitability of OG trying to force something whilst 3 are dead, coming out with a sort of an unprovoked flyback there, which could leave him in quite a risky position. I guess was just really scared of something coming in, wanted to use the buyback sooner than later, but might have got away with holding off on that.
Yeah, I guess he just wanted to be able to buy back, use Manta, cut waves,
Push lanes,
right, with
sure.
the shard and stuff like that.
That's
but
true.
Yeah, it could end up hurting him. Spends his gold, he's got his overwhelming blink now too.
Definitely going for the riskier move, but as you say, maybe a necessary one. Just making sure that the backdoor protection does not get close to be taken out with any of the lanes approaching the base. Kezu. Jump in, there's a Hex on Kezu. He needs help, but he's in now. Shad him with the call, he's having the call on the boat. Thompson and Samael said he will be getting for the RP, but the Hex comes out. Kezu's out. Buyback immediately from the Spider. Amis in with the hook shot on Samael, but Samael's in with the BKB, starting to back onto the Cataclysm. It goes crashing down on the Seb. Seb caught between the two Sunstrikes. Seb's gone. Shad, another great call. Catches Samael, even catches Thompson here on the attempted rollout. Thompson still able to break away with the further rolling thunder. Shad running him down. Thompson goes for TP. Is there anything to cancel it? There isn't. Thompson makes it out in time, but it's 3 dead on OG. Samael and Seb, no buyback available. Both of their buybacks on cooldown for at least 3 minutes. A huge window now where Viking, they may just be able to take something big here away from OG.
Looks scary for a second for Kezu. He dies, but it ends up being well worth it. They get the comeback. Shad gets caught by the Cataclysm again. It's Thompson.
Shad, he's in with a fake back. Jumps back in straight away on the Saxon. Thompson false promise comes out to Saxon Hotel trying to keep his leaner alive. Enchant Remnant and a self kick off to the side. Thompson, he's moving to get back up to the high ground, but the Hex is there. Shad, he's closing the gap. Another call, Shad will grab it, but again the Thunder was on his time. He's able to roll away with the rolling boulder. As Thompson will live, but now 3 dead. No buybacks for OG. As Viking, they're looking at ready to close it up, or at least try to. Thompson and Notel, they're going to force something insane here to hold back the full 5-mana Viking. I don't know if they can do it though. Hex out onto Notel. Viking run down the Oracle. Notel's out of the game. Thompson, the last man left alive, but not for long. As Viking get the team wipe. GG is called as Viking will take this game 1 from.
Damn. What a good game. I don't even know that. I could OG a couple overextended.